Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot. It's your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently on this channel, so keeping that in mind moving forward, there may be triggering energy that does come up on the reading itself, but remember there's no obligation to force it to fit. And triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. If the reading does resonate, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that, we're going to get into our prayer first, and then we will get into this reading today, which is what do you need to know before 2026? So let's get this prayer underway. All right. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. You know, this year is coming to an end, and as we look back over the year, we can feel all kinds of different ways. Feeling like we didn't accomplish what we set out to accomplish this year, feeling like maybe we did way more than we set out to accomplish. Also feeling like there's still things that are weighing on our hearts and making us feel heavy and distraught, while also realizing that we've let go of so many different things along the way in different circumstances and patterns. Whatever it is that each of us is feeling, today I ask that you wrap us in your love. Remind us that no matter where we are on our journey, that we are supported and that we are encouraged by you to step into our internal power and our internal light. And that while that at times might be a challenge, it brings with it such reward, and it brings a sense of fulfillment along our journey as well. And as we come into this time where maybe many of us are connecting with family or friends that we would rather keep our distance from, that we are allowed to set boundaries. We are allowed to say no. We are allowed to put ourselves first and know that that is not selfish, that our well-being is and always has been in our hands alone. And we cannot expect others to take accountability or responsibility for that. So this Christmas season, this holiday season, whatever holiday anybody here celebrates, I ask that you help us all step up into that knowledge and that strength, and for us to each take our happiness, our peace, and our sense of well-being back and do with it what serves our highest good. As these words are spoken upon this reading and onto this tribe, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So we got some ash going on over here. All right, so today we are going to be using the Soul Coaching cards by Denise Lynn. These are absolutely beautiful. I'm going to turn on the overhead because we need some additional light. It is cloudy outside. So we're going to get into that. Got some ash on this card as well. Love that we have the leadership card on the bottom, reminding ourselves to take lead within our lives. All right, so what do you need to know before 2026? What do you need to know before 2026? So source, what messages would you like to bring out for my fellow humans today? What do they need to know before 2026? Thank you. What do you need to know before 2026? Perfect. What do you need to know before 2026? All right. Pile 1. What do you need to know before 2026? What soul coaching oracle card is going to help us better understand this message better today, source? Pile 1, what do you need to know before 2026? Whoa, too many. I want that one. I'll take it, but that was too many. All right, so source for pile number 2, what do they need to know before 2026? Pile 2, what do you need to know before 2026? Thank you. All right, pile 3, what do you need to know before 2026? Thank you. Yours came out really fast. I like when that happens. Okay, on the bottom, we have collective energy, the truth. And this is card number 50. Some of you could be learning how to scry. Others of you could be learning how to really tap into your intuition as well right now. But there's something that is going to arrive or arise, depending on how you look at it, because it could be information that comes from someone else, or it could be something that you get a download in regards to, but there's a deep truth that's coming out, truth of a situation. This also feels like truth of yourself, but with the child here on the card, I am getting this energy of being tapped into your inner child, so healing some kind of wound by realizing a deeper truth. So there could have been a trauma here based on neglect. There could have been a trauma here based on abandonment. There could have been a trauma based on codependency or something along those lines. And it's been hard for you to let go of. And it doesn't necessarily have to come from your parents or even your family. It could have just been from circumstances as they were while you were growing up. And I feel like this is something that you've rehashed a lot in your journey, and you've rehashed a lot. And especially for this year, it's been something that's come up time and time and time again. And it's been really frustrating. It's like, I feel like I'm healing from this. And then a couple weeks go by and it comes back up and you're like, okay, I'm going to heal. I'm healing from this. And you feel like it's done. And then maybe a couple of days go by and it comes up. So it's something that's been frequently showing up, especially in this last year, and it's feeling like the gate is closing in regards to this situation, because you're coming into a deeper understanding of what it is to stand in a state of innocence and not carry the burden of the past and not carry the burden of what other people maybe have projected onto you. And there's the light at the end of the tunnel coming in, while also feeling that fill your body up with vitality. So if you've been struggling this year with exhaustion, if you've been struggling this year with body aches and pains, with sickness, with feelings of depression or anxiety, low vibration energy in general, or negativity that has been surrounding you, it's almost like you're breathing in the light of source. And as you breathe that in now, it's like source coming in and saying, I'm giving you this helping hand, right? Take in my light, take it in. And as you breathe that in, suddenly you are not, it's not like a miraculous healing. It's just suddenly things start to unkink and unravel. And so whatever was having you held tight and bound, that's unraveling now, and you're allowing yourself to relax. So do not worry if suddenly there comes a period where you need to sleep all day, or where you feel like, I can't get out of bed because I just don't have the energy. Let yourself rest when those days arrive, because this unfurling and this unraveling, it's literally releasing tension that's been in your body for decades. And it's like letting it go is letting your body just so let your body sigh out, because it needs that. And so there's this deeper truth that's coming that's going to help you relinquish whatever hold you had on this idea or this belief, okay? It says, find your truth, be honest with yourself, and speak your heart. Walk your talk and follow your inner guidance in all activities. The truth is within you. Listen for what is sincere and honest in others. Your soul wants you to know that often the hardest thing about living your truth is knowing what to do and what that is. There's a place inside of you that always knows what's true for you and what isn't. Sometimes it takes sincere silence and deep stillness to find that voice. But once you do discover it, let go of anything in your life that isn't authentic. Release relationships that don't empower you and situations in which you find yourself being less than honest for fear of being judged or not accepted. Miracles follow when you take the time to be genuine. And your affirmation here is, I live my truth. I love that. Such a powerful energy to come out for the collective message. And what an absolutely gorgeous card. Right? Absolutely beautiful. So let us go ahead and get this going for you. And we'll see. And also, just really quick while I'm setting these up for pile 2, I have 2 sets of this particular dice set, but I did not mean to get a zodiac dice. So the zodiac that came out, it's not because it's for Sagittarius, although if you are Sagittarius and you're drawn to that, that is fine. But it was just a total fluke. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, I have a zodiac dice. And I just was told to leave it. So that's where we're at. All right. So for pile number 1, we do have this dice with Pluto on it for you to choose from. Or we have this tiger's eye gemstone. Pile number 2, we have this dice with Sagittarius on it for you to choose from. Or we have this clear quartz crystal for you to choose from. In pile number 3, we have this dice with Venus on it. Or we have this yellow citrine for you to choose from. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Pluto on it, or perhaps you were called to this tiger's eye gemstone, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on what do you need to know before 2026. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do come up. Remember, there is no obligation to force it to fit. Also, triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. With that, if the messages resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out, pile 1, what do you need to know before 2026? Pile 1, what do you need to know before 2026? Source, what would you like to share with us today? You know, it's interesting because I was getting, right before we started, it was cloudy when I started, and now the sun's coming out, and so that song was coming out. Here comes the sun, na 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 na. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. So that was coming in. So I feel like there's a period of depression or a period of just heavy energy in general that is getting lifted. And this is something you need to know before 2026, because it's almost like, oh, if I carry this energy into the new year, then it's just going to set the tone for my new year. No, this is not going to continue on with you into the new year. You're getting a fresh start for the new year, okay? So yeah, we've got the 4th house, we've got Cancer energy, and we've got Saturn. This could have to do with a family connection or something that has been affecting your family as a whole. So finances, living situation, anything along those lines. It could be health as well. This could be the mother wound being made apparent as well. Codependency is coming up. A lack of healing also met with healing. So if there's people around you that are refusing to heal or just don't even know what the healing journey is, you're meeting these situations with your healed self, and it is presenting challenges, right? With the Saturn energy here, it's presenting a lot of challenges. There's a lot of blockages, there's a lot of barriers, there's a lot of concerns, there's rigidity, there's cynicism, there's this energy where it's like people are constantly pushing back on you, or there's something that's pushing back on you. Like no matter how much you try to show up and be your best self, it always pushes back on you, and it makes you feel like there's just no moving forward. And we see that this is you creating new roots. You've planted seeds. You've been planting seeds for a long time, but it's been taking an extra long time for those seeds to grow. And, you know, pile one, that's just something that happens. Sometimes we have seeds that sprout overnight, it seems like, and then we have seeds that takes forever for them to sprout. And I feel like these are just some that were so big that it took a long time for them to cultivate and to really take root in the ground and into this realm. And we see that they are taking root. You're not seeing that though, because that's in the spiritual realm, but Source is bringing it forth with the dice here. That there is a lot of care that's coming for you, a lot of nurturance, and mothering yourself is the key at this moment. It is so easy to put yourself on the back burner, especially when there's other people involved. You know, if you have kids, or if you have a spouse, or you're taking care of family, or you're really close to family, it's really easy to just be like, let me take care of everything with them first, and then I will get to myself. But by the time you finish your day, you still have a million tasks to do, whether that's for everybody else or in general in life. And your self-care just continues to get pushed further and further back. And with these challenges right now, the true challenge is to put yourself first. It's to say, you know what? Look, kids, you guys are in your teenagers. You're old enough to do your own laundry. You're old enough to help with the dishes. You're old enough to help with this. Okay. If it's your spouse, be like, look, I cook every night for dinner. Sometimes I need a night off. So how about you get up and cook tonight and I'll go take a bath, right? It's literally vocalizing what you need. Or it could just be as simple as, like, if it's family, being like, hey, I know you guys want my time, but I have something that I need to go take care of. And so I do not want to be bothered for the next hour. And going and taking care of yourself. So this is about really setting those boundaries, but they're showing you here that there's something that's shifting among family dynamics. Okay. So let's see what more comes out here. And this could be specifically with a mother energy in your life. Like, so this could be your mom, your grandma, and auntie. It could be even a sister. Maybe you don't have kids, but you have a sister who has kids. Or it could be a Cancer or a Capricorn that's in your life, or that could mean something to you, okay? So what do you need to know before 2026, pile one? Okay, thank you, Source. What do you need to know before 2026? Yeah, this is about being firm with your boundaries. There's someone here who has an issue with the fact that you're able to step up into an authoritative figure or an authoritative place. So you're a natural born leader. And whoever it is or whatever the situation is there's pushback because there's insecurities there. Maybe this is a parent who wants to be a leader, but they've never been able to be a leader, and they're watching their child grow up into being a leader, and there's those insecurities that are coming through. So instead of being proud or instead of being excited for their child, they're feeling left out, they're feeling uncertain, and they're feeling like they don't have enough to offer. What do you need to know before 2026, pile 1? Yeah, there's been somebody here that's been manipulating you. Okay, yeah, oof, yeah. Okay, so there's somebody, and I'm so sorry that you have to deal with this, pile 1. This is not a good energy to have to face every day or consistently, but with both the 3 of Wands and the Magician together here in the reverse, it's showing that there's someone here who's trying to keep you. It's almost like I want to keep you in a state of anxiety so that I can control the outcome of what's going on. Like if I can make sure that pile 1 doesn't see their power, or if I can make them believe that they're not a true leader, then I'll feel better about myself. And that's really frustrating, especially if this is family. But this could also be referring to dealing with maybe a boss or someone at work, a coworker, and this is reminiscent of a generational curse. Okay, but there's someone here who has a problem with the fact that you're able to step up and do something that they themselves cannot see ever achieving in their lives. And they're really hard pressed to make it seem like you cannot manifest this. You cannot bring this into reality. Yeah, this has created a lot of upsets in you. Wow. Okay, everything in reverse. What did I say? That Here Comes the Sun song, right? So that's really symbolic here because we see this has been really hard for you to deal with. This has been really a heavy situation. There's been it feels like every time you take 1 step forward, you're taking 9 steps back. It's almost like I can't make progress no matter what I do. And then I'm not making progress in my life. I'm dealing with this absolutely crazy energy, this chaotic situation, this roller coaster ride of a situation that makes me feel even ever more exhausted, while I'm still trying to juggle everything that's going on at home and at work and in life in general. And what source is showing us here is what you need to know is that this is the energy. Whatever this is eliciting in your life, whatever you've thought of when this started, the reading started, you're like, yeah, I know exactly who that is or what that's regarding. This situation is coming to a close. It means that whatever attachment that you had to this person or to this job or to the circumstance and the situationship, whatever attachment was there, whatever line was connecting you guys is getting severed. Okay? And through that severing, you're going to be able to stand up and feel fresh and revitalized and like, finally, I can breathe again. Yeah, with the 10 of coins underneath here in the upright, yeah. So this could have to do with your money or with just stability in general in the physical world, right? If you had to move in with family, or if you had to move in with a friend, or if you had to rely on someone else to help get you through, this could be a loan. Maybe you had to go to the bank and get a loan and you haven't had enough to pay back on it, but you've been trying to make small payments and you're like, oh my gosh, this is never ending. And so you have collectors breathing down your throat because collectors are crazy, right? Whatever the situation is, this could be because you're not making enough at your job and things are just very precariously balanced right now. This could be again, a family member or a person that you're dealing with, but whatever that is, whatever's happening is this is coming to a close and there's newfound abundance coming. at the very end of this year that's going to kick off 2026, and you're going to see that increase. It's like kicking the snowball down the hill. So it's going to start increasing. Now, I'm not saying this is a windfall of money. What I'm saying is that something is shifting within you where you're going to see opportunities at every doorstep. Right? Everywhere you go, you're going to see an opportunity. We have 11:33 on the clock. So that's a very telling number, right? You have 11, which is a very spiritual number, and 33, the master number, which is of creation. So you're going to be creating solutions, and you're going to be getting spiritual insight as you go. All right, let's see what else is happening here. What do you need to know before 2026? Yeah, you're going to be feeling a lot better. With house 1 here, individuality, self-image, and approach to life, you are going to be feeling like almost like a new person, but it's going to be more like I feel more like myself in a way that I've never felt before, or in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. And it's going to be showing. It's going to be showing on you. Like, you're going to look fresh. People are going to say, wow, did you change your hair? Did you change your makeup style? Did you change your nails? Did you cut your beard? You know, what did you do? Did you change your clothes? And you're going to be like, no, I let go of some baggage that was energetic and it freed me up. Right? And that's what it is. This is dropping some energetic baggage that is full of illusions and that is full of emotional distress is what's coming in. Mutable. Yeah, I love this energy for you. We have surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. The new beginning. Something is shifting. This is surrendering to what is, no longer trying to control the outcome here, and just letting it be. We have we have Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces. Mutable signs here. So you could have Pisces in the 10th house is coming in. You could have Sagittarius in the 1st house, which would be your rising sign. I'm also hearing Cancer moon. Cancer wanted to come out when I was talking about that card. So you could have a Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Cancer in the 8th house, Leo in the 8th house. Wow, okay, so I guess we're just flipping it over. I wasn't trying to. I was just going to stack it up over there. But yeah, happiness. I aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. So for it to want to flip over, it's like this is the focus for you right now, pile 1, is to find your bliss, find your happiness, find your freedom. What makes you feel zenned out, right? Like, is it art? Is it music? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it going to a museum? Is it driving around and just observing? You know, it's Christmas time where I'm at. So is it observing Christmas lights? Is it going and seeing a friend? Is it going and taking yourself out to your favorite dinner, seeing a concert, going to a show, going to a Broadway show or something like that? What is it? Right? It doesn't even have to be spending money. These are just some ideas that are coming through, right? It could just be you going to the park and sitting at the park or taking a walk around a lake or whatever it is. What makes you feel happy and really tapped in? And that's where you need to go. Okay? That's where you find your freedom. Yes, I love this energy for you. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Ooh. Right? So it's not about this other person anymore. It's not about this situation anymore. This situation, whoever it is or whatever it is, has taken up too much of your valuable time, energy, and effort. And so there's something here where Source is helping you to really let go. And in that letting go, you're finally asking yourself, what do I want? And that's becoming a priority for you. Cosmic knowledge, yeah, the wisdom of the ancients is coming in here with Merlin, right? And this is going to feel very magical. But I also feel like this is going to make you feel very knowledgeable as well, and being able to share that with others. And people are going to come to you and ask, you know, what did you do? How did you do this? And they're going to want to know what it is that changed about you. They're going to want to know more about you. And you're going to have these answers, or you're at least going to be able to share something. With 39, you're protected. You're safe within my bubble of light. You can proceed with confidence. So Archangel Michael's coming in with a protective bubble around you right now. Again, I keep seeing this line getting severed. And so you could be doing a severing ritual or a energetic cord cutting ritual with Archangel Michael. Be the real you. Your greatest power comes from being who you truly are. Don't let anyone sway you from expressing your authentic self. So this could be that people have been making you feel guilty for being yourself, and you're no longer going to care. Like, there was this if you have not seen this movie, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, it's totally worth checking out because the movie is so freaking cute. And it came out yesterday, I think, or this last week, but it's The Secret Santa. It's on Netflix if you've got Netflix. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere else, but if you've got Netflix, check it out, because get a cup of hot chocolate and post up with your favorite blanket and some comfy socks and watch it, because it's seriously the cutest movie ever. But he says in there, he's like, isn't it funny how everybody believes what they hear about you and they think they know you, and yet nobody knows who you truly are. And that's exactly what it's feeling like right now for you, Pile 1. It's like everybody's believing everything that they're hearing about you, and they think they know who you are, but no one has taken the time to actually get to know you, or to find out what makes you tick, or find out what are you actually doing with your time, right? Look at this, Gemini, change your mind. It is okay for you to change your mind. It is okay. You do not have to, you know what, if you said yes and then later you're like, oh, you know what, I think I jumped the gun on that. It's okay for you to say no. It's okay. It's okay for you to change your mind. We have conjunction, stop, collaborate, and listen. This is a collaboration with Source. This is a collaboration with your guides. Okay? So we're letting go of this heavy energy. This is what you need to know. I feel like this one wants to come out. On the bottom, we have strength. And isn't it interesting? I don't know if you caught the collective reading, but check it out. It's timestamped in the description box. But underneath the card that we talked about was strength, and I just remembered it because I picked it up to show the card. We got the truth card if you didn't see it. But this was underneath that, and I think it's funny because I always feel like Pile 1 is an extension of the collective reading. Some of them definitely tap in, but I oftentimes feel like Pile 1, you're like the extension of whatever the collective reading is. So definitely check that out if you feel called to it. But you're actually being given this pillar of strength to stand upon, and it's going to help you feel a lot more stable as you move about your day-to-day. Baba Yaga, patience. And that's what I was saying, like your roots, right? Like there's a lot of roots that are now starting to take hold in this physical world, and so there's a need for patience here. There's no need to rush anything, even with this situation. Even if you want to rush out of it, there's no need to. It's just about having patience and knowing that everything is working out in your highest good right now. Even if it's not what we want to see, it will be exactly what we need. Yeah, abundance. Yes, I love this, especially with the 10 of coins coming out here. This is about your abundance. Okay, this could be a physical manifestation of monetary gain. This could be abundance of freedom. This could be abundance of peace. This could be abundance of spiritual knowledge. So remembering abundance isn't necessarily always money. It's a lot of different things. So there's definitely abundance that's coming in, and this is going to happen before 2026, and that's going to get the ball rolling is what I keep hearing. So we're going to take a look at your card here. I'm going to read this from the book. We've got commitment. Yeah, you've stayed true to your journey. This has been a struggle and a very difficult task that you have taken on for yourself. And you have gone the distance, and you've stayed true to the journey. You've stayed true to the task at hand. And through that, now the reward is coming. And you might have heard this a lot this year, like, oh, the reward is coming, the reward is coming. And what they're saying is that it's not to have expectations for the reward, but to open your heart so that you can receive the blessing that you're meant to receive. To be free of expectation means that you can intercept the blessing as it is. It says, this is the time to make the commitment, so stand tall, don't hesitate, and give your word. Keep your promise, and your word becomes law in your universe. Your soul wants you to know that making a commitment is taking a stand. It's declaring to yourself and the universe that you're unwilling to settle for less than excellence. It means that you keep your word, especially to yourself. Fear of doing this because you might fail sends a message to your subconscious mind that you are a failure. Of course, there's always the possibility that you might not succeed, but to hesitate because of fear instead of forging forward keeps joy and freedom at bay. So decide now. Any decision is better than none at all. The most important promises that you make are to yourself. Forgive yourself when you don't honor your word, and then, without shame, recommit to yourself with passion and gusto. And your affirmation here is, my commitments increase my joy and my freedom. How synchronistic is that? Because we got the freedom energy on the bottom here. So such a powerful message here for you, pile number one. This is what I'm seeing. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little mountain emoji down below and say, I have completed this task. It is now behind me, and my freedom is smooth sailing right now. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful, beautiful message today. And until next time, pile number one, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Sagittarius on it, and just a quick thing, it's not because this is just for Sagittarius, but if you did happen to be called to it because you are Sagittarius, that's perfectly okay. I explained in the intro what happened with this dice. Or if you were called to this clear quartz crystal, or perhaps you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on what do you need to know before 2026. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. And we do things completely differently around here. There may be triggering things that do arise on the readings themselves. Remember, there's no obligation to force it to fit. And also, triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. With that, if the message does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And I'm so honored to be here with you today to give this to you. So pile number two, what do you need to know before 2026? Pile number two, what do you need to know before 2026? It's interesting, because I was getting this message of just forgetting the small things. It feels like maybe you're forgetting just simple things, or like simple tasks that shouldn't be so hard to remember, but for some reason it's like slipping your mind here and there, and it feels really frustrating. But it's also because right now you've got a lot that is coming up. You've got a lot that you're dealing with. You've got a lot that's going on internally, and that you're facing and healing, and that you are letting go of. And they're saying, don't sweat the small stuff. So you're going to make mistakes. Why? Because you're human, and that's just a part of living this human experience. So giving yourself grace and space to be as you are each day, because each day you wake up a completely new version of yourself. And some days you're going to be better than yesterday, and some days you're going to be worse than yesterday. And that's just the way the world, or the cookie crumbles, we should say. All right, so we've got the fifth house, we've got the sun, and we've got Virgo. You could have recently applied for a leadership position, or you're taking time to do something that's more of a passion and a creative expression for yourself, because it feels like you've been really, really serious about so much for so long. And isn't it funny? We've got Virgo here, and Virgos are the perfectionists in the zodiac. They are such sticklers about having everything a very specific way in order for it to be either presented or released or whatever it is. And that's a very shadow aspect of Virgo, which, when they're hyper fixated on that perfectionism, nothing is ever good enough, because it will never be the way that they see it in their mind. No matter how hard they try, there's always going to be that little thing that's just off a little bit. And so it's about letting go of the perfectionism that could be running rampant in your life right now. Like it has to look exact or it has to be exact. And it doesn't, because to be human is to err. And you know, it's also what makes Virgos pay such good attention to small details. And no beef against Virgos. Every zodiac has their shadow side, and that is something that we all have to deal with, because we all are learning how to find balance on the journey away from being either tipped to one side or the other. It's about coming to that middle center grounded place. And it feels like this could be like, maybe you started painting, okay, just an example, but there's some sort of creative example that's coming in, and maybe you started painting and you decided to try, I don't know, Bob Ross, right? And you're like trying to recreate what Bob Ross is recreating or creating. And if you don't know who that is, you need to watch some PBS, because Bob Ross is the best. Let's just beat the devil out of it. Beat the devil out of it. What is it? We make no mistakes, only happy accidents, right? Again, coming back to that idea of perfectionism. Yes, thank you so much, Source. Right, so they're just happy accidents. If it's not perfect, it's a happy accident. Let it be. We're not trying to make it perfect. That's why I think Bob Ross is coming through too, because, you know, he never tried to make something exact. He was just letting himself create. And such a mastermind, such a mastermind. Bob Ross could be really important to you, and that's why it's coming through as well. So what I'm saying though is this energy is very explosive that's coming in. It's a very creative energy, and you're ready to pour into it. I'm not getting this so much about dating, even though I know the 5th house has to do with dating. This really feels like creative expression right now. This really feels like about self. And especially with the sun here, it feels about like self, like your ability to stand in this thing or this idea or this inspiration that gives you life and is pouring back into you, while at the same time letting go of the need for it to be exact. Can you allow there to be room for error and not get so upset when error does arrive? Because as it comes up, the more that you find peace with the mistakes, the easier it will be for you to create. And that's how you're going to build stability in whatever this is. So you could be learning an instrument. You could be learning a language. You could be learning about a new topic or taking classes somewhere. This could be you wanting to get into something that you've wanted to get into for forever, and you're finally taking the leap. And it's just saying, you know what? I can't remember where I read this out, but there was a quote. I think it was because I was researching, like, can you quickly get better at drawing freehand? I wanted to know. And this was like months ago, and it's coming up again. It's so funny. And I found all these things, and there was this guy on there, and he says, you know what? Everybody wants to get better quick. But even someone who's playing the piano starts with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, not Chopin or Chopin. I don't know how you say his name, but you know, like, and that's really telling, right? Like, first, maybe we start with drawing a stick figure, or first, maybe you start with painting a background, not any details, but just getting a color of a background right? Instead of trying to go from 1 to a million, let's just start with going from 1 to 2. But as adults, that's hard for us because we have this idea in our mind that we have to be perfect, or that we have to be somewhere where we're not. And that's what they're saying. That's not the truth at all. That's coming back to that inner child. You know, when we're kids, we just did what we could and it was good enough, right? Even if people didn't like what we did, and maybe that's what created that idea of perfectionism, there was one point in our lives where we painted or we drew with some crayons or we drew with some markers, and we were excited about it. And we were like, wow, that's so cool. I'm so happy I did that. And it's a kid's drawing, you know, and you know it's a kid's drawing, but you were so happy with it. Self-sabotage. Yeah. So what do you need to know before 2026? Pile 2. Whoa, your card just flew off the table. 1 second. I'm going to grab it. Okay, it was the 8 of Wands in the reverse. So Sagittarius energy coming in. And you picked the wow, already synchronistic. You picked the Sagittarius. So, yeah, it's just talking about not letting your anxiety get the best of you, not letting your doubts get the best of you either. The Nine of Swords in the reverse. I feel like at times you're really rough with yourself and you really have a hard time getting out of that mindset that's there, right? So there's like the mindset of, oh my gosh, I gotta beat myself up because of XYZ, or I have to be really rough with myself because it doesn't look exact, or it wasn't what I had planned on and I had to take a different direction, and you end up beating yourself up. This is really, really harsh on yourself. Yeah. And it comes from having dealt with people who felt like they knew better than you and felt like they could control you at some point in your journey. It's coming from people who felt like they could hold something over you. So again, going back to that, like if you drew as a child and you went and showed it to the adults in your life and maybe they made fun of you, or maybe they were very ridiculing, like very cruel and malicious to you, and they ridiculed the painting or they ridiculed the drawing. They're like, what is that? That's absolutely absurd. That doesn't even look like anything. And it broke your heart, right? Because you were so happy that you did it. You couldn't believe it. It is the best thing that you'd ever done, only to be met with some kind of stonewall like that. And it's like, what the heck? Like, I did the best that I could. And so there's that somebody that was in your life was super conceited or was like, oh, they're never going to get to the level that I'm at. But it's like, if you have an adult compare themselves to a child, what does that really say about that adult? Like, let's just stop. Or like, if you have an adult that's comparing a child to themselves, the same thing. Like, what does that say about that adult? You have a child who has barely any experience in the world, and you're comparing them to your years of living in this world. Like, that just doesn't even compare, right? And so much of the time, I feel like you were growing up in an environment where you were trying to learn to the best of your ability, but this feels like you had expectations placed on you about things that you knew nothing about, but somehow magically you were just supposed to know, right? Like, don't stick your finger in the electrical socket. They were just saying, like, you should just know that. But you don't. You don't until someone tells you, or until you learn the hard way and you get zapped, right? Like, you didn't know these things. It's like, don't bite people. Why don't we bite people? Because it's cruel, it's malicious, you don't do that. We don't do that. Don't lick people, whatever it is. I don't know why these are coming out, but these must be things that came up to somebody. And then when you didn't know, it was like you're the one that was the problem, rather than them explaining to you, you know what, hey, I know you did it this time, but this needs to be a one-time thing because we don't treat people this way, or we don't do that. Like if maybe you picked something up and you ate it off the ground, and instead of getting screamed at, they actually stopped and talked to you. That would have created a safe environment for you. But instead, it feels like there were accidents that were constantly happening in your life, and those accidents resulted in abuse, either physically or emotionally or, verbally. And that created this feeling like, if I don't show up 100% perfect, then there's danger that's lurking around the corner. And that anxiety is what's driving that right now. That anxiety of fear of verbal chastisation is what's driving this perfectionism. So you're building up an emotional intelligence above this right now. What happens when you pour into that creative project and give yourself space to show up the way that you show up, however it is? Maybe today it's really ugly. Maybe tomorrow it's really beautiful. Who cares? But not saying those things, right? Like just being like, oh, okay, cool, I did it, right? Even if you're like, want so badly to be like nitpicky and say, this is bad, that's bad, this bad. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I even did that over there. Rather than doing that, just looking at it and be like, okay, maybe it's not my best, but I did it. That shows something. right? You can't get better if you don't stay consistent with it. And you can't get better if you don't first make mistakes. Like, that's the purpose of life, is for us to make mistakes and then get better. And that's what this feels like. It's just this reminder to give yourself grace for the moments that are arising, that where you want to show up and start being brutal to yourself because that's all you'd known when you were growing up. And maybe that's how it's continued. Maybe you had partners that are like that in your life, or teachers or mentors or friends. Your family could still be like that, but you don't have to be like that, pile 2. Yeah, fire. We have Aries, Leo, Sag with confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. So you could have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Sag in the 5th house, in the 6th house, in the 9th house, and the 8th house. You could have Leo or Aries in any one of those as well. So a lot of fire energy here, but Sagittarius especially. So because you had Sagittarius on the dice, that's just another confirmation for you. This is about reigniting your passion, and reigniting your passion gives you confidence for life, to show up for the hard things. You know, life doesn't get easier because we get confident or because we get more positive. Life still is what life is. We just become stronger. Kind of like Holes. Have you ever read that book or watched the movie? It's a Disney book, or a Disney movie, I believe. But Holes. If you haven't, read the book. The book is really good. The movie's good too. I really like the movie, but I'm a book person, and so I just appreciate the book. But remember when he was talking to Zero, and they had to dig these 6 by 6 by 6, like 6 inches around, or 6 foot around by 6 foot deep holes. And he was asking Zero, he's like, does this ever get easier? And Zero was like, no, but you get stronger. And that's the thing. It's like this reminder that we can keep doing the same thing over and over again. It never gets easier than when we first started, but we learn and we gain experience. And that experience is what makes it seem easier, but it's not. It's not actually easier. It's just that we got stronger. We got better. We got more capable of doing it. So we have gratitude that flipped over here with, I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. Right? Finding gratitude. That's what I was saying. It's like when you show up for whatever this is, and it could be for a date, it could be for leadership, it could be for a promotion, it could be anything, but it does feel very creative by nature. So whatever it is, when you show up for it, if you come from a place of gratitude, right? That's what I was saying. It's like, you know what, instead of chastising your own work or the way that you showed up, say, I'm grateful I showed up. I'm grateful I did this. Thank you. Insert your name for showing up. You know, one thing that I learned when I was doing yoga is, I love this because I always watched Ali the Journey Junkie, and you can definitely check her out. I think it's Ali Van Fossen now is her channel, but she would always say that at the end. She's always like, say, thank yourself for showing up. And she would always say, thank you, Ali, for showing up. And so I do the same. I thank myself for showing up, and I say it out loud. I say, thank you, Becky, for showing up. That's what I say every time. So thanking yourself is a very powerful way to make you feel good and to realign with that positive energy. Yeah, guilt. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have, I release any beliefs that no longer assist my soul's growth. You don't have to carry on that guilt any longer. Like, that was a burden that someone else placed on your shoulders. That was a burden that someone expected you to carry and to figure out at a young age. It was never yours to begin with. Put the anchor down. That's what I keep hearing. Put the anchor down. It's dragging you down. It's dragging you down. And it's not something that'll go away overnight, but with consistent practice, you will be able to finally relinquish the guilt. And that's what you need to know before 2026, is I feel like there's a fresh beginning that's coming for you, but it's going to start with you, pile 2. This is going to be you coming into alignment with yourself and giving yourself that love. It's interesting. You might have also resonated with pile number 1. Is this card just flew out of the deck and it came out in pile 1 as well. We have Baba Yaga with patience. Having patience, right? It's not going to happen overnight. That's what I was just talking about. Then we have, look, Amaterasu with no more hiding. No more hiding. No more hiding behind the guilt. No more hiding behind the self-blame. No more hiding behind the I can't do this because, the excuses, whatever it is. No more hiding. It's time to let yourself be seen. And that doesn't necessarily mean showing everybody and their mom. It's letting yourself be seen by yourself. Right? So again, going back to the example, maybe you're drawing or painting or something like that. You're not painting for everybody else. You're painting for yourself. So it's okay for you to look over those paintings. And remember, there's no obligation for you to show that to anyone else if you don't want to. And there's no need to show it to anyone else to try to gain approval from others, because that's only going to make you feel worse. Okay? Trust your angels. Let go of expectations of how your dreams will come true. Trust that heaven has a perfect plan. Let go of the how and open up to faith. Open up to trusting in the process, okay? Things will work out for you. But if you're constantly worrying about the how, that's just bogging you down. It's putting unnecessary energy on you and taking away from what could be focused on your path and your journey forward. So much fire energy today. Leo, we have confidence is key. So this is about bringing you back to a state of confident empowerment. Easier said than done, but worth it. Wow, we have 7th house. So yes, this could have to do with relationships as well. It says 7th house, make a commitment. But I feel like this is also just pointing at making a commitment for yourself. Make a commitment for your journey, right? And from there, when you do that for yourself, you will manifest the people in your life that are meant to be there for you. All right, this one here. Thank you. On the bottom, trust. Trust. A lot of trust coming out for you here. Trust your angels. And then we have trust, right? Letting go of the sadness, coming into a state of consciousness and creativity. Yeah. So this is about letting go of what it is that's been holding you back, which is the sadness, the hurt, the guilt, the pain, and using that as fuel to create something for yourself. So if you're really sad, or if you're really angry, or if you're really hurt, maybe you want to write about it. You know, use that as a way to fuel writing for you, or use that as a way to fuel drawing, or use that as a way to fuel music, or use that as a way to fuel paint and creativity, doing clay, pottery, whatever. Right? Just using all of those emotions as a way to to fuel your creative endeavors. Neptune, dream and transcend. Again, overcoming the guilt, the blame, the shame. Letting go of those hard negative energies that are holding you down, and coming into that place of wanting and being able to manifest your dream in your journey. Open your heart. No one is perfect. Wow, what a card to come out on this reading. Stop judging yourself and others and let love heal this situation. No one is perfect. Stop trying to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. You know, I remember years ago, I used to work in a store, and it was a convenience, well, it wasn't, it was a grocery store. And I remember that my boss, he was adorable. He was actually really hot. I thought he was really hot, but he was so cute. He was just a lot of fun and everything like that. And he would give us, all of the people that worked underneath him, he would give us all such a bad time. But I remember once we were talking about something, and I said, practice is perfect. And he said, no. He said, that's not right. And I was like, what? What do you mean? That's what everybody says. And he goes, no, practice makes better. Because there's no such thing as perfect. And I tell you what, that has stuck with me my whole life. He said that to me, and that changed my life around. Practice makes better because there's no such thing as perfect. And there never will be. But we can always get better. And we're not necessarily striving to be better. We're just striving for experience. Balance. All things come in a balanced state. Letting go of one way or the other and letting yourself come into that centered place. Okay? Rebalancing out the situation. That's where the resolution lies. So we're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this one from the book for you. essence. Ooh, I love this. This makes me think of it, Pisces. So you could have Pisces highly aspect in your chart too. You don't have to, but with the koi fish on the front, this card always makes me feel like Pisces energy. With number 10, the completion of a process. So let me bring that up. Maybe Japanese culture means something to you as well. Could want to learn Japanese. Could want to learn Chinese or Korean or Filipino. I don't know what all the dialects are called, so. All right. It says, find your essence, simplify and contemplate in the Zen garden of your mind. Discover the stillness in the center of the cyclone. Do what's important and let go of the rest. Your soul wants you to know to peel away everything that isn't truly you and let your essence shine. If you ever watched a cut crystal hanging in a window in the sun, you'll remember seeing small rainbows around the room. Yet they all emanate from the same source. You have different parts that comprise your identity, yet beneath it all is your spiritual core. Take time to find your source and live life from your center. If something doesn't give you joy, don't do it. Or find a way to make it more pleasurable. Don't try to expand your personal power and intent without first exploring and understanding the wisdom of your soul. And your affirmation is, in my essence, I am joy. So this is a really powerful message for you today. And I feel like just realizing before the end of the year, it's about coming back to that creative ability that you have without holding expectations over yourself for it to be or turn out a certain way. And that's going to be really healing for you, Pile 2. So this is what I see for you today. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little flame emoji, because we had fire all over this reading. Leave the little flame emoji down below and say, today I choose to spark my passion and let that be the guiding light to my balance and happiness. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Venus on it, or perhaps you were called to this yellow citrine, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on what do you need to know before 2026. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here on this channel. So there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings. However, there's no obligation to force it to fit. Also reminding us that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. With that, if the readings do resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And I'm truly honored to be here giving this reading to you today. So let's get into it and find out for pile number 3. What do you need to know before 2026? Pile number 3, what do you need to know before 2026? Okay, so we've got the 9th house, we have Pisces energy, and we've got Mercury coming out. Okay. It does feel like you're about to go through some sort of spiritual awakening. So there could be some rough energy that coming up, but that's okay. Like reminding ourselves that, you know, spiritual awakenings happen all the time. Like we're always growing, we're always evolving, we're always changing, right? And a lot of times spiritual growth is not the beautiful, wonderful picture that we'd hoped that it would be, right? Just one day we wake up and we stretch, the sun is shining and everything is so beautiful. Oftentimes spiritual awakening is like our hearts are getting torn open again, and we're looking at things that we didn't want to look at, and we're facing problems that we thought we had buried long ago, and suddenly they're coming up to the surface, and now we're having to face them. And so this is not to dishearten you or to discourage you from continuing on the journey. I feel like Source is just prepping you for this growth that's coming, because after this rough patch or this rough period, there are brighter days, okay? And things are going to feel a lot better. I feel like right now you're dealing with a lot of past energy that has been holding on to you. There's this feeling of doubt that is arising on this reading, and it's huge. It's a very big feeling, like I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm not going to be able to complete what I want to complete. I'm not going to be able to have success that I want to have. I'm not going to be able to manifest what it is that I want to manifest. And you know, as much as I want to be the person that feeds you with the don't worry about that, it'll come true, you'll get what you want, you'll get what you desire, which I do say that a lot, but at the same time, we also have to be realistic. And I feel like for you, Pile 3, you need that reminder that to hold on to realism is okay. It's not about discouraging yourself, and it's not about feeding the doubt, but it's just asking yourself, what would happen if none of those things came true? That's a scary thought. I felt my stomach drop after I asked that question. That is a scary thought. Well, if it didn't happen, then I'm going to suffer, or I'm going to always be struggling, or I'm always going to have these things. But are the reasons that are coming up for not being okay with it, are they actually true? Or is that what we tell ourselves because we're so attached to the outcome? And just recognizing those things can help us relinquish the control that we're trying to hold over our manifestations and over our spiritual journey and over all of this, so that we can really come back and align with the truth, because it's what it feels like here is that Source wants you to come back and align with this deeper truth, this deeper understanding of your own journey. Like, what happens if you don't manifest the money? What happens if you don't manifest the house? What happens if you don't manifest the person you want? You know, asking yourself, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, asking, what happens if I don't do that? And it's not about being negative. This is not a negative thing. It's about reminding ourselves that we don't need to stay attached to the outcome. When we're unattached to the outcome is when we're able to manifest it much easier. And is it always going to be exactly as we pictured it? Very rarely is it. Very rarely is it, Pile 3. It is always exactly what we need. And I feel like that's the thing. It's right now you're learning how to evolve through the doubt. And eventually that's going to turn into a knowing that allows you to see a situation for what it is and to remain unattached to the situation and the outcome itself while still staying present, right? But right now I do feel like there's an attachment that's coming up to a person, place, or thing, or circumstance, situation, situationship. All of a sudden I have the hiccups. And what Source is trying to remind you is that there's no need for you to be attached. It will all work out the way that it's meant to. But it's the attachment that creates a lot of worry and fear and dissonance and resistance in our lives. And Source wants you to come into this powerful place of flow. You could have Pisces highly aspect in your chart. You could have Sagittarius highly aspect in your chart. Also Gemini and Virgo. You could have Pisces in Mercury. You could have Gemini in the first house. You could have Virgo moon. And you could have a Sagittarius sun. That's what's coming through right now. What do you need to know before 2026? Pile number 3. What do you need to know before 2026? Okay, thank you. Yeah, Sagittarius in the third house is coming through as well. What do you need to know before 2026? Okay, it's coming out in the upright. Yeah. Abundance is already yours. whether you have the things that you're trying to manifest or not, abundance is already yours. But I feel like there's this fear that, you know, everybody says that, or everybody says that I was born with inherent wealth, but I don't see it. And it's not about seeing it. This is not something that you can see. Do you remember the old Santa Claus movie? It's Christmas time, and I've been watching Christmas movies because I'm trying to make my own traditions. And right now I just decided I want to watch Christmas movies because I love them. But anyways, it made me think of Santa Claus with Tim Allen. When he meets the elf. And it's the girl elf, and she tells him, she's like, seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. And that's what's coming through right now. So right now, it's not about seeing so that you can believe. It's about believing so that you can see. So this is about switching it up, switching the mind frame around. What do you need to know before 2026? Yeah, letting go. Feeling like, here's the thing, you've been feeling like you've been stuck in a lost cause. Look at the devil in reverse on the bottom. Obsessing over it. Obsessing over the outcome, obsessing over when it's going to come, when things are going to level out for you, when things are going to, you know, finally you're going to be free of whatever it is that's bothering you. Like, you have the idea, your intention is set. You want to come into this Queen of Coins energy where you're grounded, you're stable, you're abundant, you're profitable, you have wealth and riches, you're healthy, and you're capable of doing what you need to without worrying about it. Like, this is the intention that you've set, right? And all the while still being able to take care of yourself and knowing that that's a priority. But there's this energy that's coming in where you're feeling like this is all just a lost cause. Like, what's the point? I've been putting so much time and energy and effort towards this. I've been putting so much into this, but I'm not getting a return. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing how things are coming together. But maybe it's not for you to see. Maybe it's about letting things happen and then seeing them. Sorry, I have to move the camera. It's all crooked for some reason. And that's why we have the Four Wands here. This is about shoring up old patterns, old habits, old beliefs, letting go of the doubt, right? Specifically letting go of the doubt. Well, with the Seven of Wands here, we see in the reverse that it's something that's very hard for you to keep taking action on because the thoughts have become obsessive over the outcome of the situation with the devil. And that's obsession with money, obsession with status, obsession with goals, obsession with people, with love, with lust, with sex, with relationships, whatever it is, there's an obsession here. Like, I have to have this. If I don't have this, then I feel incomplete. And that's the illusion. That's why the devil's here, right? That's the illusion. It's believing in something that you feel, if I can see it, touch it, taste it, it's tangible, then finally I have gained some sense of self-worth. But Spirit and Source asks us to come back to this place of recognizing our worth without having tangible external things to rely on. And that's what it feels like for you, Pile 3. It's about drawing away from the external and coming back to the internal, right? Actions that are driven right now are about external validation. They're about external consensus is what I heard. Okay. Okay, just sometimes it's interesting how they come through, but it's holding, like, this is something that has been over your head for a long time. Something that you've been fighting for a very long time, and it's got you tied down because it feels like if you don't achieve whatever this is that you set out to do or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, there's this feeling that's connected to it that says, I'm completely worthless without it. It means that I did all this work and it was for nothing. But none of that is true. You did all this work and you gained so much experience that now you've gained mastery in whatever it is that you're doing. And that's not for nothing. That means something. but you're not seeing that part of it right now. And I feel like as the year draws to the end, this is becoming ever more present, because maybe it is money and you're not able to get the things that you thought you were going to get this year, or you were planning something for the beginning of the year and you're not going to be able to do that. Or you had promises out to people that this is something that was going to happen by this time and it still hasn't happened. And it's like holding on to all these things, you know, it's like we can make as much promises as we want, but that doesn't guarantee that it's going to happen when it comes to manifestation. And I feel like sometimes the spiritual world or the manifestation world has kind of gotten out of control with people saying, oh, you can manifest in 24 hours. I am not saying that's not possible at all, because I've witnessed that happening. But I'm also very aware that there are a lot of manifestations that we are asking for that we're not even in the vibration to receive, because we're stuck in old paradigms. And that's what's happening here. There's an old paradigm at play. Somebody is bothering you here. That's why. And that's the thing, like, you love this person, you care about this person. Okay, this could also be a relationship that you really, really want. Like, I can't live without this relationship. But what's happening here, it's like you have other people who are sticking their nose in your business. Like, well, why hasn't this happened? Why hasn't that happened? And that's also aiding in the anxiety. And so what they're saying is that right now is the spiritual growth. The difficulty is facing yourself. Like, why are you holding on to identifying with the outcome of said manifestation? That's what is coming up, and that's what you need to know before 2026, so that you can free yourself from this square, from this challenging situation, this mountain that you've had to climb. You've come a long way, but it's almost like you can't even celebrate how far you've come, pile 3, because you're so hyper focused on the end result. It's okay to have a goal in mind, but we can't stay so attached to the goal. You know, I used to work in this industry, and it was like I could work for 8 hours, or if I hit a certain quota, I could leave before lunch and still get paid for the rest of the day, plus whatever commission I earned. And this is when I first started learning about the manifestation journey. In fact, our whole team, we were in a call center, the whole team was learning about manifestation because our manager was obsessed with it. And so he was teaching us how to do it. And I remember I got this video and it said to imagine the outcome and then say what you're going to do to get to that outcome, and then let it go, and then only focus on the work. Only focus on the work. And every day that I did that, before I started, I would come in. I usually came in at 9 and I would leave most of the time at noon, and I would still get paid for 8 hours, right? And so because I would do this before I even got on the phones, I had control over my own dialer. It wasn't an automatic dialer, which I had been so used to for so long. And so I came from this industry where I was just chained to the phone for 8 hours a day and constantly getting calls, to where I had power over getting my own calls in. It was so new to me. So I would come in and visualize that by lunch, I would meet the quota that they had and then some. I visualized that. And then the first thing I visualized, what it would feel like when I got done, was walking outside of the building into the courtyard, where every day at noon, the sun was shining down and I could feel it on my face. And I would visualize that. And then I would let it go. And then I would just show up and do the calls. And I wouldn't even think about it. Until I got to noon or close to noon, and I would look at my stats and see if I had made the quota for the day, the sales quota for the day. And whenever I did that before I got on my phone calls for the day, I always met the quota. I always was let go. I was always not let go. I was always able to go at noon. And the days that I didn't do that, I was stuck at work all day. Right? And it was like, and I would get so frustrated. Why didn't I get to go home early today? Why couldn't I leave today? Like this, that, and the other. And it was because I realized that I wasn't doing those steps. And so the visualization is, it's visualizing what it is that you desire. How does it feel when you get there? And then let that go and just focus on the work. That's it. Focus on the work. Show up for the work. Show up for the work. Don't worry about what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't keep holding on to the outcome. You already know what outcome you want. Just focus on the work. Okay, but here we have this obsession with the outcome. And that's why I feel like it's so important for you to ask yourself, who am I if I don't achieve this? Because if you know yourself and you know that you're still you, pile 3, whether you achieve it or not, you're still valuable, you're still worthy, you're still deserving, you're still lovable, you're still amazing, you're still smart and witty and this incredible being. When you realize that no matter whether or not you have this manifestation or not, you're still all these great things. This thing does not make you who you are, because you are already who you are. Then that will help you let go, and it won't be such a challenge anymore. Yeah, opposition. There's this imbalance here. Look, a point of tension and a power struggle. This has control over you right now. That's what it feels like. That's what it's felt like this whole time. The situation is controlling you. Blame. Yeah. There's a lot of blame here. Like, I'm not good enough. Blaming yourself. Blaming the situation. Blaming circumstances. Blaming someone else. I accept responsibility for my well-being. You need to come back to yourself. This could be in regards to relationships. I am attracting those people who serve my highest good, or I'm attracted to those people who serve my highest good. People are in alignment with you. When you're in alignment with yourself, you're naturally going to attract people who are also in alignment with you. Okay, so you've got 3 of these coming out. I'm going to put these back and reshuffle, but we have Thoth with Divine Masculine, so this could be in regards to a labeled relationship. We have Apollo, Divine Messages. This is direct from source coming in for you. And we have Hecate with Past Life Healing. This is something that's been carrying with you for many, many lifetimes. Or it's something that has come from your past up until this point if you don't believe in past lives. Okay, thank you. On the bottom, yeah, Emotep, Visionary. It's time to come back to that creative energy that allows you to continue to build on who you are. You're mastering something. Let yourself master it before getting attached to the outcome. I mean, we should never really be attached to the outcome, but it's easier said than done, for sure. You know, as humans, we get so attached to the where, what, when, why, and how. And really, the only thing that concerns us is the what. That's all we can do. What can I do to get there? That's it. That's the only thing that concerns us. Everything else is in Source's hands, but it's hard to let go of that because we're just curious by nature. Right? Angels of healing are with you. A time of healing is about to bless your life. Accept Archangel Raphael's emerald green light while I enhance your strength. So healing is coming. What do you need to know before 2026? Malefics, beware of challenges. Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I got with the dice, like there's a period of challenge that's coming. And they're saying that it's not to discourage you. That's not what it is. It's just that it's the storm of the spiritual development. And you're going to go through that once again. But it's going to have its purpose, and it's going to serve you in bringing you closer to your aligned journey. Love. Okay, so love is coming out. So this could be, again, in regards to a labeled relationship. Sometimes we get so attached to the label itself that we forget what the label is actually trying to teach us. It's trying to teach us unattachment, right? It's not being attached to the person. It's not being attached to anything. It's recognizing that love is us and we are love. With or without said person in our life, we are love and love is still us. Like, that's not ever going to change. And so it's about coming closer to you and the divine. Sedna, there is always enough. So coming back to this more abundant state of mind. There's more than enough to go around for everybody. All is in perfect timing. You got 1 and 2. Because on the bottom of the deck is number 2. They came out together. 1 and 2. That's interesting. So it says, this is it. It's a time to take action now. I will be here to help you every step of the way. That's it. All you need to focus on now is the actions that you can take to go to where you want to go. Don't focus on the who, don't focus on the what or the when, don't focus on how, none of that. Just focus on what action can you take today to draw you closer to your desired outcome. First quarter moon, face those obstacles. Don't give up in the face of challenge, right? We grow through adversity. I wish it weren't so, because adversity comes in so many different shapes and forms and sizes that it can be really overwhelming. And yet, if we reframe that, remind ourselves that adversity helps us grow closer to our highest selves. We remember that no matter what challenge we have to go through, it is helping us realign on our path of purpose. Disruption. Yeah. So there's going to be a disruption that comes before the end of the year, before 2026. But I feel like for you, pile 3, it's not to make it feel like a bad thing. This disruption is coming because there's a realignment that's happening. And so when 2026 does arrive, it's going to be you starting fresh. Not starting over, not starting from scratch, not going back to the beginning, just a fresh start, which is something that I feel like you desperately need. And it is coming, but there is still a period of challenge ahead. I need a drink real quick. But not fearing the challenge itself, rather facing it head on is where you're going to find your strength. Communication, number 11. Yeah, so this is all about your spiritual development and finding your willpower, reconnecting with your inner child as well. Guess there's a squirrel who just decided to throw an acorn on top of the rig. Sometimes they get crazy up there. It says, communicate from your heart and speak your truth without hesitation. Be willing to stand before the crowd and share from your center. This isn't the time to be shy and hesitant, but to heal through communication. You're a natural teacher. And that also feels like being honest with yourself and communicating to yourself, right? Your soul wants you to know that direction is the better part of valor. However, sometimes it may be fear rather than discretion that keeps you from reaching out. Communication restores trust and allows you to clarify your ideas, position, and feelings. It can be healing when you share what has been withheld. Now is the time to take a risk and have the courage to speak with forthright clarity. Share any unspoken darkness that lays heavy in your heart, even if you're afraid. Declare your truth for all to hear without fear of being rejected or misunderstood. When you do this, transformation and healing can occur. And your affirmation is, I communicate from my heart and love surrounds and protects me. So this is just that reminder that the more that you're honest with yourself, the more that you're honest with the people around you, like when you need to say no, say no. Don't say yes because you feel guilty, but say no because you need to say no, right? It is uncomfortable, but it will bring you closer to you standing in an empowered state of well-being and health and clarity. Wow. My throat keeps closing off. So this has to do with your throat chakra. There's something here you're not being honest with yourself about. And that's why communication is so vital. That's what I'm saying. It's like you're believing the blame and the guilt that you're feeling over your own internal truth. And so what they're saying is to come back to your own internal truth. Yes, it might be a challenge, but it will serve its purpose and it will bring with it benefits to your journey as well. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with this right now, pile 3. Remember that you are so strong and that you really are capable of anything you put your mind to. You don't deserve to feel like you identify with being attached to outcomes because you're already so much more than the outcome itself. But this is what I see here for you today. If you felt like this was your reading, actually really quick, you might want to check out the collective reading at the beginning of the reading. It's timestamped down below. That might have further messages for you, especially since you got the communication card. But with that, if you felt like this was your reading, leave the tiger emoji down below and say, I choose to be radically honest with myself, even if it's not what I want to hear, knowing that this honesty frees me from the chains of the past. And if you chose to watch all 3 readings today with me, I'm truly honored that you spent so much time with me. Leave a purple heart down below. That's for my Purple Heart Club. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. If you'd like to support the channel further, you'll find everything in the description box. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. I want to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this deep, profound reading today. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.